The series is so good. There's like funny parts, there's tragic parts. Yeah. Carole Baskin, yo, this is the most shocking thing of all. She has been accused of murdering her husband and feeding him to the tiger. The guy in Myrtle Beach was like running like a cult where like he would have these young girls come there and work for him. I mean, it has everything. Hey y'all, it's the Southern Snackers.
I'm Bucky.
And I'm Brandon, and before we start anything, spoiler alert, we are going to be talking about Tiger King, which is the Netflix show that people are like losing their minds about.
Yes, everybody.
Y'all, we have so many thoughts, so many opinions, so we're going to eat our lunch here in lockdown.
And chat
so
about
I made some just like basic, cheap, homemade paninis. We got hamburger buns with turkey, cheese, and mustard, some deli pickles, some chips and dip. Y'all, just a basic lunch today, and we're just gonna dig into the food, and we're gonna talk about Tiger King.
So if you don't want to know any spoilers, like if you haven't watched
it, you need to exit off this now.
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Binge watch it.
Come back later.
Watch it all in like one sitting.
Unless you want to be spoiled, and go right ahead.
Yeah.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into the meal. Y'all, this pickle though, look at this. I love deli pickles. The Clausen brand. Oh my god, they're so good.
These are like little paninis, but hamburger buns.
Kind of like grilled cheese, but with turkey.
It's good.
I just threw it in a pan with some butter to spruce it up a little.
But y'all, so how many of y'all have watched the entire series? I mean, I think I watched it in a day and a half.
Yeah, we watched it in a day and a half. And y'all, it's so fun. It's like just when you think something couldn't get crazier, it does.
And it like, if you ever needed to know like how normal you are, or like how like you're doing okay, like you're doing all right, please watch it because it will make you feel so much better about yourself.
It's like if you have issues and you need to go watch this and see these issues these other people are dealing with, because y'all.
It's crazy. It's literally insane. And okay, so basically let's just give a little rundown.
So basically the rundown.
If you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
Joe Exotic, who self-proclaimed himself as the Tiger King.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Joe Exotic. It's all about people who are into like exotic animals. So big cats. It mainly talks about big cats. So tigers, lions, that kind of thing. Really, tigers, I think, is the main animal. But anyway, it's basically people who are into exotic animals. With this guy, Joe Exotic, he lives in Oklahoma, and he's like a self-proclaimed, like, I think he calls himself the gay, gun-toting guy with I don't know. Anyway, y'all, he is hysterical, and he has this blonde hair with a mullet. Y'all know that if you've watched it, and probably most of y'all watching at this point have watched it. But basically, it's about him, these other really funny characters who also are really into exotic animals, and then this lady named Carole Baskin who runs what's called a big cat rescue in Florida, and she basically has it out for all these other people because she claims that she takes the cats and rescues them and puts them in a better place, which I have my thoughts about that. She hates all these other guys who are like big cat owners. Meanwhile, PETA and the animal rights people also hate all these people because they're like hoarding exotic animals and putting them in cages. And basically, like, one statistic that it says in the very beginning, I think, which I found shocking, is that in America, there's more big cats in captivity in America than there are in the wild, which is crazy. I think the number is something like, there's an estimated 5,000 to 10,000 big cats in captivity in America, and there's only around 4,000 tigers and like big cats in the wild. Well, that number is crazy.
At one time, the Joe Exotic, throughout the documentary or whatever, was like he had 200 and like almost 300 tigers.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
just tigers.
How? Anyways, and like he's in there playing with them. There's also a guy in North Myrtle Beach, which I'm mad that I never knew about because I wish I would have gone there. But there was a guy in North Myrtle Beach. It was basically like 3 big tiger keepers, I guess you could say. And y'all, they were just after each other. Where the guy in North Myrtle Beach, he was just kind of just...
He was very like simpatico, like...
But the Carole and Joe... His
vibe was like different.
Carole and Joe were literally head to head the entire time. Like just going back and forth, whether it was like threats, lawsuits, like just attacking each other on social media.
And Joe had a zoo in Oklahoma, and then he started taking these... Basically the problem was, what Carole hated about these guys, is that they were breeding tigers and lions and stuff in order to have what they called like cub petting, which is like a baby tiger or a baby lion.
Sounds weird.
And they would take it to malls or have people come to them, and they would have like cub pets where like you would pay a fee to like basically pet and have your picture taken with like a baby tiger or a baby lion. Now, disclaimer, I know there's a picture that exists of me with a baby tiger in Myrtle Beach. I'm positive. I think my cousin and I did it.
That's
when
probably
we were
that
young.
guy then.
I think it is, yeah. It's at Barefoot Landing. I think they had a place. And I'm assuming it's the same guy.
I bet.
But past that,
so you're part of the problem.
I don't know, whatever. But like, it's like, hey, if you can pay a few bucks to have your picture made with a baby tiger, who wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so things about these people just started coming out left and right. Like, the Joe Exotic guy had these guys who worked for him. He was gay and he was admitted, like, you know, out.
He was very flamboyant.
Oh, yeah.
Very over the top.
Very,
like,
you know, just in your face.
A country,
anyway,
literally.
country singer.
Like,
oh my God, his videos, y'all. Oh my God. Anyway, so he had these like young guys who came to work for him, and they were like 19 years old and straight. Basically, he like seduced them into like marrying him by like supporting their drug problem and giving them money and gifts and stuff and allowing them to stay and like work with these animals. It is crazy to me how much these people love these animals and how that would drive their desire to do crazy things. Like in order to just pet a tiger or like go in a tiger cage. I mean, it was insane. So that was his kind of story, and he worked there, and there was this reality show being filmed about him, which was a whole other thing. Well, then the guy in Myrtle Beach, this was like just things that come out about people. The guy in Myrtle Beach was like running like a cult, where like he would have these young girls come there and work for him. He would like change their name to crazy stuff like Raja and like stuff like exotic sounding names. And these girls were living in horse stables in a barn, and like basically working like 12-hour days, getting paid like $100 a week just to live there and pet tiger and like be around tigers. And these girls were like, oh yeah, that's cool. And these girls were like young, good-looking girls.
And these guys weren't.
It's so crazy. Then Carole Baskin, yo, this is the most shocking thing of all. When this came out, I literally nearly died. She has been accused of murdering her husband and feeding him to murdering her second husband.
I don't know how
it was her second husband, I think.
Yeah.
And basically feeding him to the tiger. And that story, y'all, I'm here to say it right now. I don't know.
Alleged. Well,
like, I'm not gonna say that she killed him. Like, I don't know if she really, like, actually in cold blood, like, murdered him. But she definitely knows more about what happened.
Yeah.
And, like, then there's this weird... So the thought was that she, like, killed him and, like, fed him to the tigers.
Also, like, she laughed about it. Whenever they would interview her about it.
Oh, my God.
She would be, like, the most creepy thing. Like, wearing this little, like
she always wears, like, cat prints and flower crowns.
And, y'all, they were in the interview, and she was, like... They would talk about, like, people thinking that she murdered her husband. And she would just be like...
Well, no, the funniest part was... the conspiracy is that she murdered him and then ground his body up for meat and fed it to the tigers. Because tigers' stomachs are like super acidic apparently, and they like virtually like wipe out everything they eat. Like there's nothing left of it. So at one point they're asking like, so what do you say about the people who claim that you like put him through the meat grinder? And she literally goes, oh, I mean, our meat grinder was so small, I could barely fit his hand in there, much less his whole body. And like laughs.
She's creepy.
Like someone is asking her, repeatedly this happens through the series. People are asking her, did you murder your husband? What can you tell us about your husband? He disappeared, what happened? And like, she answers the questions and then like laughs it off.
He was also like a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, so the conspiracy is she killed him for his money.
Right. There's also a conspiracy that he could still be in Costa Rica, that he loved going down there, but it just doesn't seem quite realistic.
And here's my other conspiracy that I haven't read anywhere. This lady is so crazy about cats and loves them and thinks they're the best in the world. Basically, at the end of the day, if she didn't have her tigers and stuff, her life will be over. So that's like the #1 priority in her life. So my conspiracy was, and I don't know if this is true or not, it could be possible that there was an accident and a tiger like mauled him or something. And in order for her, and she basically covered that up so that nobody would come and like take her tigers. That was never really expressed, and I couldn't find that theory anywhere online.
You got a vibe though.
But that's another theory that I see that could be, you know, doable.
Yeah.
But they interviewed his like kids and all this, and like basically after he died, she did some real shady stuff with his will. I mean, it was crazy.
So that was that, and she is still, I mean, and the only people, like, so there was like lawsuits everywhere. Every which way.
So basically what happened was she sued him. She was suing Joe Exotic for like everything he had. Joe Exotic met this guy named Jeff who had apparently had money, or so he thought. Well, he comes in and basically claims ownership of the zoo so that Joe doesn't lose the zoo in the lawsuit with Carole. Then it turns out Jeff is shady as frig. I mean, everybody in this whole situation is so shady. And just like, wow.
Well, the thing that sucked for Joe was that Carole was a millionaire now. And she had the money to pay for lawyers, like tons of lawyers.
And she got remarried, and her new husband was like all involved.
Yeah. And he seemed like he kind of, like he still was kind of creepy, but he had his stuff together.
Yeah,
he was like,
he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So basically they just kept suing him until like he couldn't do anything. So he had to give he basically had to give his zoo away just to even stay afloat.
Yeah.
Under, you know, so she wouldn't take the zoo. But it was just like, I mean, just the lifestyle that these people like have, like it does make, like I want to play with a little tiger. Yeah. Like, I want like a little tiger just running around, and they're in there with these big animals, and they just, I mean, every now and then, there was a part of the series where Joe says that somebody sprayed his shoe with cologne, and that would like attract the tiger to like, you know, they would be fascinated.
So the tigers really never attacked him.
Yeah. And well, y'all, this tiger literally kept grabbing him by his shoe and like wouldn't let go, and he had to.
And nobody.
It was all being filmed. Nobody jumped.
There were other people filming. No one went in to help him.
It was so weird. So he ended up having to get his gun out, and like he didn't shoot it, but he shot like in the air to scare him.
Joe is such an insane character, but he's real. Right. He like ran for president and ran for governor. We didn't even mention that. And the thing is, like, the whole time, you know, he's like just mentally there's issues there. There's something wrong. But yet you still feel like at the conclusion of the series, I personally felt sympathy for him.
Right.
Like he's a person who I'm like, I feel like he was done dirty. Now he is at times completely despicable a human being. And you know, he admitted that he euthanized tigers and all that, which he always claimed he didn't.
Well, he also said that like if they're sick and stuff, that's what you have to do. Yeah. So he's kind of taking that road now.
Which, you know.
But before we get to like the end of it, because I don't want to like say yet what happens at the end of the series, but so let's talk about Joe a little bit more, because he's just like the most fascinating character to me. You know, Carole's crazy, but like, you know, it still does revolve around Joe. Like he is what made the series. He's what made people laugh. I mean, I've seen a meme that was like, okay, yeah, I'm putting it up right now. Day 14 of No Sports, watching a gay zoo manager seduce straight men with tigers and meth.
Oh my god, and then the picture is so funny.
If it doesn't sum it up like in a nutshell, it like nothing does. But it's crazy because if we talk about Joe's relationships with these guys that came here, they were supposedly straight. But one of the guys, he was in a polygamous relationship too. I don't know if we've said that.
He was married to two guys.
Two guys. So one of the guys was like messing around with everybody else on the zoo, like all the girls.
He was effing all the girls.
And then finally he left and like married.
We got one of them pregnant.
Yeah. He got with this girl and they left.
The secretary.
Yeah. And then the other guy that they were in the relationship with, he ended up killing himself. Like it was the craziest thing. Like, and it like showed like part of that video of it, and it was like so terrifying. And like
there's like the series is so good because there's like funny parts, there's tragic parts, there's dramatic parts, there's like edge of your seat kind of thriller part. I mean, it has everything.
Because as soon as that happened, y'all, they have his funeral. They have his funeral. And
oh my God.
His mom and like the guy's family is there, and then Joe is like giving the speech. He's like standing up there giving the what do you call it? Eulogy. And y'all, if that wasn't enough, he done went and sang one of his like original songs, like on like a
and it's like an upbeat thing, and like people are like clapping.
Yeah, and like it wasn't even like he just sang it; like he sang it with his track.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most cringiest, weird things that I have ever watched, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then come to find out 2 months later he goes and marries this other young guy that just randomly
another young guy met online, moved to Oklahoma to be with him,
and they're still married.
And then
that is crazy.
That was the time when all this what happens at the end really started transpiring, which is eventually Joe Exotic and these other guys, Jeff and James, who looks like a life-size Chucky doll.
Yeah.
By the way.
And it was funny because Brandon said that before. I said that. And then in the series,
somebody else said
that.
Somebody else was like, oh, he's just a human Chucky doll. And I was like, oh my God, he looks like Chucky. I had said that a long time ago. Anyway, basically what happens is a murder for hire plot comes to fruition where these guys are plotting to murder Carole, to have Carole murdered. And
because they joked around about it all the time. They were like,
he made videos about it where he would like have an inflatable doll as Carole, and he would like shoot the doll in the head.
Yeah.
And he would say stuff like, "Those are my guns. Those are the guns I'm taking on me when I go to Tampa," which is where Carole lives, I guess. And y'all, it like basically what happens is the reason why I feel sorry for Joe. And I don't know if y'all all do too, but y'all let us know how you feel in the comments because I'm so excited to see what y'all have to say about this. I know a lot of you have watched it because I've been commenting back
on your last,
yeah. And I've watched it since then, so this is like perfect timing. I'm so excited to see what y'all think. But I think that these guys are just as guilty as Joe, but they somehow got in cahoots with the feds and basically framed Joe for trying to murder Carole. I believe Joe. Like in the end, Joe says things like, basically there was a huge thing because in order for them to charge Joe, he had to actually pay somebody to murder her. He actually had to make a transaction. And from prison, in one of the recordings, Joe's like, and he says in his testimony when he testified, he says that Jeff ordered him to pay Alan $3,000 in order to get rid of Alan, not to murder Carole.
But they saw the transaction, and that basically is what ended up putting him behind the bar.
So Joe is saying that Jeff basically set him up, and I don't know. I believe Joe. I really do. I think he's crazy.
Jeff is kind of like crazy and has his own issues, and they were saying that basically he did that, and he like went to the cops to basically throw Joe under the bus. So
the cops started working with James first.
So his like actions and his like past like would be kind of brushed under the rug.
Yes, and the weird thing is that Jeff and James like recorded everything.
Yeah.
So like, come on, like you were totally setting this guy up.
Yeah.
And like Jeff is so not innocent. Like when they were planning the whole murder, they were like looking at Google Maps and shit and stuff. And like basically had planned to kill her on her like daily bike ride, and they like had it pulled up like a Google Earth shot, and it was like
she's
here's where we're gonna kill her. And Jeff is the one who did all that.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how he's not in trouble yet. He needs to be arrested if he hadn't already.
Yeah. And it's even crazy. So basically, let's go to the end of the series. Joe is behind bars for 22 years. He has 22 years in prison.
And I think he's 55 now. So he'll get out when he's 77.
But what I have recently found out, and also like because he's very active on his Facebook, I found his Facebook, and since this series has come out, he's basically saying like, I hope that the jury, I think this was his last post on Facebook, I hope the jury sees this and sees how they made the wrong decision, blah blah blah. And y'all, he has a lawsuit out against I forget, I guess it's like the state or the government for like 96 million, or it's in the 90 millions, basically for
setting him up.
Yeah. And like part of it's for the past, him losing his business, him losing his zoo. And so that's interesting. I saw that like TMZ just posted something about the lawsuit, and I mean he's definitely trying to get out. Like, and I wonder with this coming out.
What do you think? Do you feel? What's your vibe? Like, do you feel like Joe's innocent? Do you feel like?
Well, it also Joe said that the people that say like what animals are going extinct. What's that called?
I don't know. The wildlife, whatever.
Somebody. Well, they didn't say that just like regular tigers were on the extinction list until this lawsuit came about.
Oh.
And that's what also like put him.
But that thing hasn't passed. There's also like a bill in Congress or something for like a big cat safety act that this Carole lady's behind, and it hasn't passed
yet.
Yeah,
I don't think that's exactly what it is. But,
okay.
Anyway, so he also has a lawsuit against them saying that they just categorize them as whatever this is for him to be able to go behind bars. Anyways, I just don't know because I feel like they're all doing the same thing. So it's like, why is
Joe the only one who went down?
Right.
That's how I feel.
And I feel like everybody wanted him to go down for
other reasons.
And now he's going down for, you know, threatening to kill somebody.
People just wanted him gone. As much as he wanted the Carole lady gone, other people wanted him gone.
Right. But
And
Carole is so creepy.
She's
like,
so creepy, y'all.
To
me, she's the creepiest one in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at her
because she tries to be innocent and stuff, and it's just like you.
It's like
girl,
she's one of those people where you look in her eyes
like a psychopath,
and there's like nothing.
Yeah, you're a psychopath.
Well, there's just like nothing there.
Yeah, she doesn't like.
It's weird.
It is the strangest thing, and it was definitely very, very, very entertaining.
So entertaining,
and the story just keeps going.
It does. It is honestly one of the best things I've watched in a very long time.
Like, you can Google it now, and there's just so much going on. Like his lawsuit, like,
and now there's like a TV show being created, I think, and Kate McKinnon is going to play the Carole lady, which I'm so excited about.
And also the guy in Myrtle Beach.
He just had his place raided in December. That's
and
what
I was
said
like,
at the
dang
end.
it, we should have gone there before.
Who knew this was down there the whole time? But it was by reservation only because I did find their website.
Oh, okay. But it's just crazy, and like, who would have thought that just
this was all going on? It's
know.
so insane to me.
And it's like an industry that obviously we know nothing about. So like us giving our opinions is very just like, you know, surface level. But it's so fascinating. It was so well done. That guy that did the documentary.
I mean, they
like
honestly
he with everything going on and everything that transpired, he hit the jackpot.
Oh,
like he
God,
never knew what was actually going to come of all this. And then what did, he was like, jackpot. Like, good for him. Like, it is. And the story just keeps telling, so.
It does, y'all.
I don't know.
Oh, well, we have had.
Let us know your
we've had our
thoughts.
food ate for a long time.
We've been just.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts on Tiger King below, y'all. We are the Southern Snackers. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified. And y'all, please, please, please let us know in the comments what you thought, because we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And remember, y'all, when life gets tough,
just keep on snacking. Bye, y'all. And if you're watching this and you're like, Bucky's not upbeat, y'all, the allergies are killing me right now. So that's just a heads up. I am fine. It's just my allergies. Love y'all.